Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me tonight for another breaking Bitcoin market update. My name, of course, is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday evening. Excuse me. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday evening. I hope everything is going well for you on this lovely Saturday of absolutely no volatility in the markets. I mean, it's like pulling teeth out there. I want to give a big thank you to everybody following, subscribing, that's been coming by lately. I enjoy spending the times with you. We're going to experiment with doing the weekend shows in the evening as opposed to during the morning. Obviously, we're here Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time every day to break down the markets, show you the trades that we're putting on, as well as talk about news and other technical analysis events in the cryptocurrency space. For the weekends, guys, I'm a family man, and it would be nice to be able to have a little bit of time, a little bit more time, I'd say, to spend with my family. So we're going to experiment with this later time on the weekends. We're going to see how it goes. Tomorrow, we're going to be here at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, so set your clocks for that. Let's see. Interesting stuff today. I do see you, honey. I see you in the chat. So let's talk about what's going on. Let's just go to the charts, guys. Let's hop over here. Sorry, let me get this set up. There we go. That's interesting. I reset my monitors up last night, and it must have resized some stuff. Okay, great. All right, so here's what we're working with here, guys. Thanks, JC. Let's see. Well, I guess here's the thing, Drow. I'm not in charge of whoever decides to help me, support me out, send help my way, watch me. I appreciate the attention, though. I guess I don't really know where you're coming from. JC, Ethereum, please. All right, yeah, no problem, man. I'll check out Ethereum. Hey, Cannon, man. Thanks for joining us in the chat, guys. All right. All right, so here's what we're working with. Man, got a lot of alerts on my phone. What's going on? Yeah, we get it. Let's just go ahead and silence that. That's not the important phone. That's not the business phone. Well, thank you, Drow. I guess your thoughts and comments have been taken under advisement. Anyways, moving on, guys. All right, so here's what we're working with. Looking at the weekly chart, not a whole lot has changed, guys. Still absolutely very little volatility. We see the longs getting stopped out. We get the shorts getting stopped out. This is not really an area where I want to be entering any kind of position or putting on any position. There are lots of other coins right now, especially if you're on BitMEX, that are exciting, that are interesting, that are trading with a little bit of volatility. And even if they're not trading with high volatility, even if they're not trading with a lot of high volatility, they're still at interesting price points to be looking for positions to put on. There are several ones where we're waiting for confirmation for us to make a move. Some are sitting right on report, but some are sitting right on support, but they have not responded off support. And what I do want to see, especially in the slow period of volatility, we know that a highly volatile move is going to follow. You know, as you compress, as you contract price, the expansion period is going to be more volatile the longer that you become compressed. And you can see right here that on closing basis, Bitcoin has put in almost 14 days of contraction. 14 days of fairly significant contraction. So the expansion that's going to follow this should be fairly significant. But there's just not clear signs to the upside or to the downside. If I were a betting man, and I'm not going to bet my opinion, I would expect to see a quick stab down to tap into support levels before moving back up because, as I've said many times, Bitcoin is currently range bound on the weekly timeframes, on all higher timeframes. And when price is range bound, you trade the range. I'm not expecting any kind of breakdown below 3,000, and I'm not expecting any breakup above 4,000 for the time being. Bitcoin, it seems to me, is clearly stuck in this range where we do want to get a lot of people. I guess, you know, situations like this are also forms of capitulation where things are extremely flat, extremely sidelines, and it can go on like this for quite a while. Now, not in this absolute tight of a range. If you recall, if we return to previous times, you can see the volatility that happened the last time that Bitcoin contracted like this. The last time that Bitcoin contracted like this, we were live streaming during this whole time, and we went through 3 weeks of just absolute no volatility before an extremely almost 50% move to the downside, pulling us down into this next range right here. Now, I've seen a lot of charts that other people are throwing on. Yeah, no problem, Jer. I'll look at BNB. Now, I've seen a lot of charts that people are throwing on for Bitcoin. People are talking about descending triangles. Okay, here's the only problem with a descending triangle. For any trend line, you're going to need at least 2 touches, and you only have 1 touch of support, so you have no metric to determine. Yes, currently you do have horizontal support right here. Initiated by the close of this candle and the open of this candle. You do have horizontal support right here. However, you don't have a second touch in that level of support to establish that this is a confirmed area of support. Right now, the only reason that I would be targeting this area, which I am, is the psychological significance of the previous yearly low, the psychological significance of 3,000, that round number. Very key area to place. And what will we expect to see here? Well, if price falls down, again, we have several things coming in. So let's go ahead and throw on our moving averages. We have some interesting things coming on. Just as I've said here for a while, this kind of makes it very clean. We have our 200 simple period moving average. We have our 200 period exponential moving average, locking price in. Now, there are other people that make this the crux of their technical analysis, so we'll try to dive a little bit deeper beyond that. However, I just want to point out that 200 simple period average has moved up a little bit. And if we zoom down to the daily time frame, we will see right here this HVN. So we're going to front run this HVN. You can see that the top of this high volume node is coming in right around 3,216, 3,281. And if we simply place our support level at the very top of it, which does line up on the daily time frame as well, we also find congruence on the weekly time frame with that ascending 200 period simple moving average. So very powerful level that price tends to respect. So again, if I was looking to the downside, again, guys, range bound, you buy low, you sell high, you short resistance, you long support. So I'll be looking to put on longs as price moves down into this area down here. Andre Machio, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Thank you so much. And as you can see, thank you so much, my daughter Delilah. Thank you so much for understanding very clearly what's going on here. And as we can see up here, we do have that weekly resistance coming in here. Now, as I had pointed out earlier as well, if we go ahead and take this level right here, if we actually take the true candle body of our weekly equilibrium candle right here. So what do I mean by weekly equilibrium candle? I get asked this a lot. We have a dominant trend. We have a very powerful trend. And then we put in 1 week of resistance to the dominant trend. We do put in a bullish week. All right, a nice Darth Maul candle, stopping really just about everybody who was speculating during this week. Just a bad time to be taking on positions. And then we continue the underlying trend. JC, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. And then we continue the underlying trend until we find support on our 200-period simple moving average and then reverse. Now, let's get rid of that. So this level right here is going to denote true resistance. So this is going to be your horizontal resistance level where you will be comfortable putting on shorts. Now, a weekly open or really a weekly close above this level would be your first significant bullish sign. As you can see, when we move down into the weekly time, the daily time frame as well, you do have that descending trend line coming in quite nicely, which has also been respected as resistance. Again, you have confluence here with your 200-period exponential moving average right here, respecting this range right here. And then you also have this high volume node. And one thing that I want to talk about HVNs, because we talk about volume profiles a lot. And why do I like volume profiles so much? Well, because they clearly tell me very simply what areas of the market are being respected, as well as what is the most significant area of support and resistance. So as we can see right here, we do have this golden line on my chart. Now that's going to correspond to the point of control. And the point of control is going to represent the area of price that is most heavily traded at, okay? Now, we do have to take a few things into account when we're talking about points of control. Points of control, or excuse me, we do have to take a few things into account when we talk about high volume nodes. Now, high volume nodes are created by lots of trading activity occurring through a certain price level. So as opposed to the traditional volume indicator on the bottom of the chart, which is volume by time, the volume profile on the right-hand side of the screen is going to represent volume by price. So this is more clearly indicating to us what are more significant levels of price. The point of control being the most important one of those, because it is the high volume node with the most volume at that price level. So it acts as support and resistance. We currently see right now that the weekly point of control is 3,621. Again, we are looking at the BITSTAMP chart. So this means that if price is able to get above 3,621, then at that point, I would also expect a retest of our resistance level right here. Very simple. Might take a while to get there, but if the weekly closes above 3,621, I would expect us to move back up to test our resistance zone at 4,000. Now, until we're able to get above that, until we're closing, until we're just wicking above there, very hard to put on a trade. Very hard to put on a trade. You can see how well that's worked out for everybody that wanted to buy into a breakout, everybody that thought as soon as we went above the point of control that was the time to go. No, I'll tell you what, one of the hardest things to do as a trader is wait for candles to close, is to wait for confirmation. Depending on whatever time frame that you're trading, you do need to wait for confirmation, unless you just want to gamble. And it's one of the most difficult things to do. And I know this, guys, and I know this. All right, so let's go down to the daily time frame just to see a little bit more clearly. Yes, and as we can see, we do have that equilibrium, that resistance block coming in right there. So this is denoted by our weekly, if we move back, remember. So we have that weekly candle body forming our resistance zone right here. And why is that resistance? Well, why are bulls interested in coming back up to test this price? Because remember, as I said, this equilibrium block means that we have a dominant trend, and then we have a momentary pause in that trend. So even though price moved down, when we bottomed, this is an area where the bulls sensed weakness in the bears. This is where the buyers represented a weakness in sellers, or where demand sensed a weakness in supply. Now, the more times that you touch resistance, the more times that you touch support, the weaker it will get. We need no clearer indication of this than the entire market cycle of 2018, where you are putting in significant support at our previous point of control here at 6,380. Price comes down, tests it, bounces off again. The more times that you test support, the weaker it becomes. However, conversely, the more times that you touch resistance, the weaker it becomes. So we've really only had one significant test of this resistance level right here. Here we have resistance established. Here we have a bottom. Here we have resistance tested for the first time, and I would expect it to hold for the second time through, guys. Unfortunately, I just would not expect us to break through on the second pass through. Now, can it happen? It's absolutely possible, and you do want to have a plan for that. But generally, I find that the most powerful trades are to be taken on the third and fourth touches of a trend line, as opposed to the fourth, because traditionally you are taught that you need 3 touches on a trend line to establish its validity. Now, while that is classically true, I often find that it is better to front run. It's better to take that acceptable risk and assume that a trend line will hold on the third pass through instead of waiting for the third pass through, which is often, again, your fourth touch of resistance, meaning it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and you can expect a little bit of a breakthrough. Now, some interesting things to point out on the daily time frame. Now, we got some interesting things here. We have the same resistance order block. We have the same descending trend line. We have the same support areas right here denoted by our high volume nodes. Obviously, I am front running this high volume node if I wanted to be more accurate as to where the actual high volume node is. Instead of coming in as I am trying to do a front running the high volume node at 3,270, it would more accurately be around 3,240. All right. One average true range below price at current average true range levels 2,960. Now, wicks down to this level are completely acceptable. In fact, that's what I would expect. It is a likely scenario, and you do want to be reactionary. You don't want to be predictive. So, setting buy orders down here can be an effective strategy, and it's going to happen very quickly when price moves down to these levels. If we do see a stop hunt, where are a lot of traders going to be placing their stop losses? Well, traditionally, traders are going to be placing their stop losses right here below support. So, to capture liquidity, a lot of individuals are going to be have their stop losses here, which means that if they're long or if they're buyers, they're going to be selling at this level. And you're also going to be having on your leveraged platforms where you can short sell, you're going to have a lot of buy sells here, or stop sells, because individuals are going to say, oh my God, it's going below support. That means we're going to 2,700 right away. I want to sell into this breakdown. And really all they'll be most likely doing is providing liquidity to buyers in this area. So, now, if you are a market mover, that's your strategy. However, if you're not a market mover, I would recommend caution with this strategy. Again, it can be an attractive strategy to just say, I'm going to place buys right below the swing low, but it makes it difficult to manage your risk. It makes it difficult to ascertain an area where to place your stop loss. And this is why psychologically so many people use the lows, the swing low directly below the swing low, as their stop loss, because they don't really have any other metric to measure their stop loss. And this is why I really like the use of average true range. So average true range will describe for you average volatility. And there are lots of ways that you can use average true range. There's lots of ways that you can use average true range. You can use it as an average measure of volatility. Again, when volatility is quite high, there's going to be lots of movement in the markets. Very exciting time to trade. If there's low volatility, there's going to be not a lot of excitement going on in the markets. Very difficult to day trade. Not profitable to day trade, honestly. And again, the one thing, though, about volatility is that low volatility does precede high volatility. So when you have an extended period of low volatility, you are expecting to see quite a violent reaction, because, again, as price contracts, it will expand quite violently. All right, so let's go over here and look at a few more things on the daily time frame before we zoom down and then get into our other charts. If we take, so weekly time frame, remember where that point of control was coming in at 3,000, so let's go down here, 3,619. 3,621, 3,619. Depending on how much data you take in, it will shift around, but just understanding the range, which is where the weekly is unable to close above. So we want to keep that level. We want to keep that level in mind. So we're going to go ahead and put a line right there. Red for resistance. All right. So I need to see a few things before I'm willing to take a trade of Bitcoin going back up here. We need to see a daily close above this resistance level right here. Or we need to tap into these areas where it would be an attractive place to be putting on buys. 3,390, 3,293. All right. So Unfortunately, that's the strategy. Most people play this absolutely wrong. They assume that if price goes down here, Bitcoin is going to make new lows. The way that I look at this is a range-bound market, so I will be buying the lows and shorting the highs until we get a break of the range. Very simple to understand when you look at market in that way. Now, if we close a daily above this descending trend line, again, I'll be looking to put on a short right around this level. Now, if we have a daily close above the descending trend line, then we kind of come into my warning area right here, where we have this kind of reverse fulcrum area right here. So that is the difference between the descending trend line and the regular resistance zone right here. Now, I won't be irrationally exuberant. I'll be tentatively cautious if we step into this area on my short, potentially looking to manage my risk with a tighter stop. But I won't be overly irrationally exuberant for a long position until we're actually able to close a daily and form a new daily high. So as you can see, we've been unable to do that yet. We've been unable to form new daily highs on our rallies. So if we are actually able to put in a close above this resistance level, that would be the first time in a very long time that we've been able to form a new daily high. And I can see as you can see right here, I've kind of got my go, go, go symbol, and I'll be looking to put on longs if that happens, targeting our next area of resistance, which is going to be coming in around right here around 5,500. There's just nothing in between there. There's nothing but an LVN. And as we've talked about many times, high volume nodes are train stations. Price likes to hang out at train stations for quite a while. But when we get to the train tracks, which are our LVNs, price likes to zoom right through. Now that right there is a no-brainer trade to me. That right there is a no-brainer trade. That's also a very nice life-changing trade. 34%. All of this stuff, none of this is life-changing. A lot of this is very short-sighted scalping. A lot of this is very much going to get you in trouble if you're trying to trade these extremely tight ranges, especially just looking at ATR, just looking at this low volatility. I mean, there's just absolutely no reason to do this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Delilah. You have a good night, hon. Jurgen and Xantimus, thank you so much for joining me this evening. All right. Yes, I am drinking a Pepsi. Brief break from the ketogenic diet, guys. It's been nice. Day two of a couple carbs after many months of none of them. All right, so let's see here. We'll go down to the 4-hour time frame just for kicks. Yep, kind of the same thing. So this excited a lot of people last night. We had this nice 2% movement in Bitcoin right here. Absolutely rejected from, as you can see here, unable to close a 4-hour candle above that weekly resistance level. Remember that 3620, 3619, 3621. There we have it right there on the chart. Completely unable to close above that. Excellent place to be putting on a short. And really what we saw here was just everybody at 50 and 100x, well, at 100x. Who bought in here just completely get wrecked. Everybody who tried to short this movement right here, or short right here at this range. Yeah, so they all got absolutely taken out of the market, just as we saw longs get taken out on all these wicks right here. Now what's interesting is that we're seeing a lot of wicks to the downside, which generally means that we're going to move up, and we did slightly, but just no follow through, absolutely no follow through. And then right back down to the 4-hour point of control on the local area right here. So nothing doing, guys, nothing doing. Not an area that I want to be trading. Again, the 4-hour chart, you can make potentially some trades off of this, for example. Like, for example, you can see that we're range bound on the 4-hour chart. Again, you want to buy support, sell resistance. So this looks like a potential scalp trade back up here to the point of control or resistance level right here. However, you do have to be basing your trades on the higher time frames. So just looking at the higher time frames, it's just nothing that I want to. It's just nothing that I want to be involved in, guys. Just nothing that I want to be involved in. Yeah, it's too dicey, man. There's going to be plenty of opportunity. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for a really good trade above this level right here. It's going to be a really good opportunity when we reach these levels right here. So until that happens, I'll look for something with a little bit more volatility. Don't need to be in a position on Bitcoin at all times. Looking at Ethereum, let's start with the weekly. All right, so one thing that I want to do here. Okay, so let's pull out the VPVR. And we'll also pull out. Now, I do like to chart Ethereum on to the tether on Binance because of the volume and because in my experience charting Ethereum USD to the tether on Binance is actually going to be more significant for moving the markets. I find that the market moves first on Binance and not the other exchanges. Let's see here. Love you too, Delilah. Are we talking scalps or longer term time trades? Now I'm talking longer term time trades. It would be very difficult for me to I think it would be very difficult for me to show scalps. And really, the type of scalps that I'm looking to put on, I don't traditionally take scalps the way that most people do. Most people scalp with a momentum oscillator. Most people scalp on the 5-minute or the 15-minute chart. I don't do that. I use VPSV on the 30-minute chart. So it's a fairly unique scalping strategy. But again, I'm looking for volatility. I'm looking for volatility when I want to be scalping something. And there's just, I don't see the point of, I mean, what's the daily range today? Let's see here. So on Ethereum, 2%. So an opportunity for scalping right there. Yesterday, 2.9%. You know, compared to these opportunities right here, compared to, 20% movements and 10% movements and, what the heck is this? Oh, excuse me. I'm looking at, those are dollars. Yeah. So, all these 52% movements, when we have a 2% week, and we have a 0.2% day, a 1.1% day, a not percent day. I mean, this is not good scalping territory, man. This is not good scalping territory. There's better opportunities. There's better, like candles like this, daily candles like this. Those are good scalping opportunities. Very good scalping opportunities. So weekly time frame on Ethereum. We are resting on the point of control. So this is a fairly interesting key support level right here. We also have this level as resistance. You can see we almost have an equilibrium block right here. So if we would have just been able to rally a little bit more on this candle, this would be denoting an equilibrium block right here. Why? Because we have a dominant downtrend. We have a break in market structure right here. And then we continue the downtrend. This is almost identical to Bitcoin, although Bitcoin was more bullish at that point in time. On the same weekly actually. And then we put in a bottom. We come back up and rally above that level right here. And then also pull back down on this week to test it as support. And then we've dropped down right back to the support level right here on this week, putting in very, very weak, very low volatility, very low, so very little movement in this period of contraction over the last 2 weeks, being governed right now by our 8-period exponential moving average as well on the point of control. So what am I looking for to take a trade off of this? Well, there's a few things that I need to take. So what am I looking for? Well, a few things. I do need to see this level hold right now, because right now I do have it in my chart as support. So let's actually change that color to green. But what all we're doing is just stutter stepping right around this weekly support right here, and we're being completely governed by our 8-period exponential moving average. And as you can see here, previous weekly resistance, current or previous weekly support as well, denoting this as an important area. Here's test 1, here's test 2, here's test 3, holding right now, but really looking like it doesn't, the market's unsure whether it wants to move up or wants to move down. If I had to place my bets on this, I would say that until we can actually get above our 8-period exponential moving average right here, or until we can very strongly close above this level acting as support, we would then at that point have confirmation of support. And then I'd be looking to put on a long, because honestly, if we go down to the daily chart, price does look attractive. There's a couple important things here. So we do have, there we go right there. So yes, we'd also have, again, we talked about being at the point of control. We're also at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement of this recent rally. So obviously, as most of you are probably aware, very key area to be looking at for the Fibonacci retracement, for the Fibonacci strategy. And again, just using a very simple Fibonacci strategy is generally to buy at the 618 and target the 236. This is a very common bot strategy. This is a very common manual trading strategy. And you do have a nice attractive trade. Putting that on, you have a nice attractive 25% trade. Going down to the daily time frame to manage your risk with that. Going down to the daily on Ethereum, we do see very similarly the very low liquidity. Let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Fibonacci. Let's just get rid of that. Getting down below that, we do see some interesting levels on the daily time frame. So I've got all supports laid out right here. So if we do end up rejecting from this area, which on the daily time frame it does seem like we are doing, So what I'd be looking for here now, looking at this candle right here, we are putting in a little bit of buy pressure right here, a little bit of resistance to this breakdown of support. However, if we look at the previous daily candle, we do have that evening star reversal doji pattern right there. And we also have the, the evening star, and then we have the morning star right here. So what's interesting is this candle right here, this type of doji that we can see right here is typically a reversal candle that you see at the bottom of a downtrend because it indicates a larger amount of buying pressure. So the sellers or supply attempted to suppress price all the way down, but buyers bought it right back up. This is often a sign of a reversal. This is a very powerful candle, but absolutely no follow through. And then we put in another counter reversal candlestick right here, this evening star pattern. Which again is the same thing over here, just absolutely in reverse, where buyers attempt to push price up and they're absolutely pushed down. So really what we're just seeing here is just insane wicking to the upside and to the downside, man. And it's even worse on BITMEX, where you're seeing just lots of liquidations. Honestly, it just blows my mind. It really blows my mind that I mean, just looking at ATR, for example, looking at how low ATR is. That people are getting liquidated. And it's just because when you see something like this, I don't want to trade this. I don't want to trade this. You know, I'd like to trade this. If I saw something like this, I'm going to go down to the lower time frames and scalp this. Look at this. Look at this. 11% in a day. There's like at least 10, 15, 20 trades there to be taken in a day. I mean, you got to be kidding me, guys. You guys just have to be a little bit more discerning. It might be your favorite asset to trade. It might be your favorite cryptocurrency to trade. But if nothing's doing, man, I mean, you just got to switch over to something that's going to make you money, because just sitting here staring at the charts all day will literally make you go insane. Was there more bad news for Ethereum other than it is a shit coin? Bitcoin dropping too. Caribbean Crypto Show, what's up, all? Hey, thanks, Caribbean. Good to see you, man. So here's the thing. Ethereum dropping hard. It's not really yet. Again, none of this looks exactly positive, and we are rejecting from the neutral zone right here. So if I had to place my money, this would definitely be on. If I had to take a position just based on the fact that we are at the 618 Fibonacci retracement, and that we have not respected that area, my bias would be leaning toward the short side here. However, I don't want to take a trade in this low period of volatility. Again, if you just zoom out and look at the daily candle, you can actually see what's going on now. For people who are saying, oh, Ethereum's dropping down hard right now. So yeah, if you look down at the 30-minute chart, yes, it's taken a nice spike, popped right back up. But I take trades on higher time frames, guys. I take higher time frame setups. So again, 618 Fibonacci retracement, point of control, significant support right here. Not saying that it's going to hold. In fact, I just pointed out the fact that on the daily time frame, it doesn't look like it's going to hold. But I'm not going to enter into a short on a candle that looks like this. Again, this candle just opened up. We'll see how this plays out. Got plenty of time to be putting in shorts. What is our next area of support? Dropping down below this, or what are our targets for short positions right here? On Ethereum USDT, you're going to have that $108.79 and $103.12. So you do have this zone right here. So does that mean that you just go ahead and ladder limit orders there? No, not necessarily. It doesn't. It means you wait for price to come down to this area, and then you wait. To see if you do get a bullish reaction. So let's actually adjust, let's actually adjust these a little bit so that they line up more properly, with the HVNs. Not trying to front run them, trying to accurately display what the actual HVN is. So that is now $108.04 and $103.68. So support zone right here, secondary support zone right here. All right, so very similar to Bitcoin, guys. Very similar to Bitcoin. We're really in no man's land right here. If the littlest movement that we're going to get, and although yes, that does look pretty volatile on the 30-minute chart, but all we have to do is just go back in time. So did this, and everybody was screaming for the moon. So did this. Everybody screams for the moon. We get a big violent stab down like this. I mean, we can just point them out here. Here's the exact same type of candle right here, guys, that you're talking about. Here's the exact same type of candle. All right. Look at this. Okay. Look at this one. Look at that. What's that? That's 1.06%. What do we got on this candle right here? 1.04%. So just got to be patient, man. You know, if I was a gambling man, I'd actually probably long this right now. Yeah, I probably definitely would. Tap into liquidity. Big volume downtrend right here. No higher time frame consistency. Yeah, no follow through on the higher time frames. Yeah, looks like a tap into liquidity and a nice short scalp back up here to the median. Because why did price go here? Well, where did traders have their stop losses placed? If they were buying at that support level that we talked about on the higher time frames. Again, that 116.31, that point of control. Anybody going long on dips right here, anybody that went long in this area right here would have had their stop loss placed right here down in this area, below this low or below this low, even maybe below this low. And so what does price go to? It hunts their stops. Now, it doesn't mean the price is going to go back up. I'm just saying that if I had to put on a scalp trade right here, I would have definitely longed off a candle that looked like that. Buy low, sell high, guys. It takes balls to buy on. It takes balls to make buys on big candles like this. But that's what you need to do, and you want to be selling on big green candles like this. It's that simple, man. Hey, Wally, thanks so much for the $9.99, man. Highly appreciated, man. He says, smash that like button and help a brother out. Learn, earn, and don't get burned. You goddamn know that's right, man. If I haven't done Kyber Network yet, would love an analysis. Yeah, no problem, man. I'd love to do Kyber Network. Thelonious says, wicked. Thanks, man. Beware of 2 CMCT on CoinMarketCap and don't get them mixed up. They shouldn't have more than one of the same. Ultimate Ormus. Yeah, hey, thanks, man. Good looking out. So, all right. So there's Ethereum. We'll do Ripple, and then we'll do KNC for Wally. And then we're also going to do, we'll check back in on Mr. Ethereum here for a little bit. Again, if I had to be a rambling, gambling man, I would go ahead and say that this most likely, well, what's our resistance? So this is at least, this would have been at least along on the close of this candle, at least along here to 115.11. But I'd be willing to place a little bit more money that this even has the potential to go up here. Now, keep my eyes on this depending on how these next few candles play out. This could be a breakdown short, but I'm going to need a little bit of confirmation on a higher time frame besides the 4-hour chart. As you can see, it's now turning into quite a nice reversal candle. So you just got to wait until it closes, guys. Any kind of trade like this, I definitely want to be looking at least the 4-hour candle and waiting for that to close to get confirmation on any kind of trade. So, and again, I'm not here to make you guys feel bad, man. I'm just saying that, you know, and I'll just read them back to you. You know, JC says ETH's going down hard right now. I thought there was another comment right here. Web Dev Newbie. Well, you didn't really say it was going down. So JC, I'm not trying to single you out. I'm just saying that that is the typical way that somebody would look at this. They'd see a big volatile movement down and they would rush to enter into shorts. And so what happened? I mean, see this price level right here? Somebody sold at that level. Somebody sold at the very bottom of the wick, because remember, every price point, every part of a candlestick represents an area where somebody bought and somebody sold. Has to be a buyer and a seller for a trade to commence. So it's not working out so well for them. Now, they could be right, but you just have to wait, man. You have to wait. You don't know. And again, I would actually break money. I would actually put money on the fact that we at least revert to the mean. All right, so let's go check out ZERP. A few things about ZERP, man. So here we got ZERP on the daily time frame, and let's get rid of some stuff. Let's go ahead and hide our lines, and let's just look at price action, guys. So let's look at ZERP on the daily time frame. So here, what do we got here? We got some interesting stuff. We've got a very nice parabolic rally. We've got a very nice healthy retrace of that movement. Again, I believe that's the 382. Yeah, that's the 382. So quite a bullish pullback right there between the 382 and the 50% is your bull mesh, your kind of bull zone right there. And we also see other areas of significant support. We do see resistance on the parabolic movement right here, where we like to find support right at previous resistance. Right, makes sense. Also, we have resistance over here, which actually helped form the beginning of our downtrend right here for ZERP in October 2018. Because remember, this is. Let's actually zoom back a little bit. So yeah, Actually, if we go way, way back in the way back machine, we have resistance here. We have resistance here. We've got support here. So this is a high volume node. And actually, if we look at the VPVR, we're going to be able to see that quite well. Yes, very high volume node right here in this area. An area where a lot of activity has been traded. An area, I mean, it's an important area too. It's kind of like the 50% mark of the market. You know, if you can look, you've got your bottom here, you've got your top here, and we're right in the middle, you know. When price goes below, people get overly bearish and start selling. When price gets above, people get overly exuberant and start buying. Price goes below, rejects from resistance right here. And then we have this big, nice crash down from May all the way to September.
It's over 9,000.
And of course, we have a nice cover. Ahmed Marie, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Highly appreciate it. And then what do we have here? We have the exact same, oh, well, sorry, not the exact same level right here. We have support right here. We have a double test of that support, and this is where price rallies. And now we are finding support on that same level again. Quite similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Until I actually see confirmation of a breakdown, I won't be... Oh, it feels so good to drink pop, man. It's so bad for you, but it tastes so good. All right. So here's the dealio. Let's talk a little bit more clearly. So we were short ZERP. We've been short ZERP for a little bit, and we pulled off the trade. And why did I pull off the trade? Why? Because we're coming to support. We're coming to support. So I do like to long support and short resistance. I don't really like to. I'm not really much of a breakout trader because most breakouts get wiped out. The same for breakdowns. Breakdown trades usually get bought into. So we've got this Wick City down here, right? So this is exactly what I'm expecting to see for XRP right here. Now we do have a shallow area of the volume profile pretty much right below where we're going, right? And that's absolutely where we got stop loss on into before we had a nice bullish movement back up. Overall, well above the entire market cycle point of control, coming in at 71.79 Satoshis, currently trading at 87.71 Satoshis. We have this level for support right here. We also have this level for support coming here. So let's actually show the lines. And now we'll zoom in a little bit. Excuse me. All right, so.
It's over 9,000!
So here's the thing as well. Again, just looking at horizontal support and resistance, a good area to consider putting on a long trade for Ripple. But basically, or ZERP, because it's not Ripple. I still am trying to correct my speech, guys. I'm making a statement, okay? Making a statement. But overall, you do have to respect the fact that... sorry, let me clear this up a little bit. Overall, you do have to respect the fact that we are in a downtrend. If we look at our moving averages, we can see that everything's curling up. We are coming up not only on that same horizontal support level that I talked about, but also we have our 100 simple and our 100 exponential coming in right here. These are powerful support levels in the market, and I would expect price to respect them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good place to go long, because we could just go sideways here for a little bit. And I do want to see either that, or I want to see some nice significant rally off the bottom. I want to see a nice volume spike. I want to see some movements because we've got falling volume and falling volatility, not really any areas that I want to be entering. But if I had to place a bet on it, I'd be taking a long on ZERP around this point in time. But me personally, I'm going to wait for confirmation just with how, really choppy the waters are, guys. Again, most traders out there are losing money hand over fist, right? I'm serious. I mean, I'm not just overall, right? Because overall, most traders lose money. But recently, right? Because of low volatility. Low volatility, when there's low volatility, people's positions don't move very quickly. They're really sweating for profits. And they want to, and so to counter that, what do they generally do? They generally put on more risk. They generally take on more leverage, more position sizes than they can really manage. They usually stop hunted out because when there's very low volatility, you've got the bots going wild. The bots are efficiently able to take advantage of, big wicks. You're often not able to, especially if you're not sitting at your computer staring at the 10-second chart every day. And even if you are staring at the 10-second chart, what's the chances that you are going to be able to discern that information faster than a program or faster than an individual that already had a limit order in that area? You're not going to be able to. It really is a game for suckers, man. Again, I mean, the profitable trade is just to catch a nice trend, to catch key levels of support and resistance and enter positions from those areas, guys. Look at this area right here. We had key resistance in this area. These are areas where you want to be putting on shorts. I mean, they're just no brainers, man. Now, if price, and again, we're on the daily time frame. Look how powerful the daily time frame actually is. You need to get off the 30-minute and the 15-minute chart and look at your daily, your weekly, and your 4-hour. Because as you can see, we have resistance here on the daily close right here. So basically, this is going to be denoting an area. Hey, so it seems like a daily hasn't been able to close above this level. Seems like a good area to be putting on a short from. What do we see? Oh my God, it's like the perfect area to be putting on a short from. I mean, it's like magic. It's not magic, guys. It's just patient, easy trading. I actually do need to delete these lines because those were take profit levels on the shorts, or those will become potential take profit levels on the long. But I'm going to reevaluate because as the market changes, I do reevaluate my position sizes. So overall analysis on ZERP right now, no trade, no action being taken right now at this point in time. Keeping my eye out for a reaction from these 100 simple and exponential moving averages, as well as this horizontal level of support right here, and also the correspondence with the high volume node on the larger time frame. As you can see here, zoomed out, as you can see, we're still in that HVN, still right at the bottom of it. If we open and close a daily candle below this level, then more than likely I'm probably going to discard. These are just 3 areas. So this is a zone that I'm looking for. And that doesn't mean that I'm just going to slap limit orders in here willy-nilly. But this is the support zone that I'm keeping my eye on right here. As you can see, it's the high volume node, and I've just trisected it. Falling down below that, we do have our our next support at 71.55 if the area between 79 and 84 doesn't hold. So price drops below this level. I'll be looking at this area to see if we get a nice bullish reaction or a bottom. But again, I'm going to wait for confirmation on at least the daily time frame before taking a position. And what is that confirmation going to be? Well, I'm going to need to see probably a daily close above 9,000, at least 9,000. That's our current local top. So if we can close a daily candle above that, then I'll be looking to put on a long. That's also breaking up into this HVN, this level of consolidation. So that will also be a break of horizontal resistance. Or if I just see a really big, nice green candle, then I'll expect to see some follow through for that. And I will just simply be targeting 10,465. Seems like it's been the best target for a long and the best entry for a short, guys. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. Just going to continue to take those no-brainer trades. So Kyber Network. Let's check out KNC. Hey, thanks. Aspartame, bro. Big no. I know, man. This ain't aspartame. I think this is real sugar. Which means it tastes even better. Let's see here. Bitcoin looks dead on a surface level. Yeah, it does, man. Edward Park, thank you so much, man. Jaden Rockra says I'm lost. Hey, ask your questions, man. I'll be happy to clarify for you a little bit. Hopefully, I try to make things as simple as possible, man. Horizontal support and resistance. Significant moving averages, volume profile. All right, what do you got going on with Mr. Kyber Network right here? So first off, the first thing that we always do when analyzing a new chart is we take everything off. We take everything off and we take a nice look here. Ooch. Okay, so kind of that basic thing. At the complete bottom at all-time lows, and just doing that snaky right here. Just doing that real snaky. All right. So now we know what we're dealing with. We are dealing with a coin at an all-time low and slinky. So my initial bias is to assume that when a coin is at an all-time low, it will continue to make new all-time lows, just as my bias is that when a project is making new all-time highs, it will continue to make new all-time highs. So just at a surface glance, nothing super, I mean, it doesn't take a genius. I'm not saying that we'll get into this on maybe you can find a trade or not, but just on the surface network, I don't necessarily see anything. Hey, Jamie, thanks so much, man. I don't really see anything that would overly excite me about this. Again, I'm not obsessed with buying the bottom. I know a lot of people are. Jamie Kieran, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube. I know a lot of people are really, just think that the absolute bottom is the best place to buy. Unfortunately, guys, the absolute bottom is generally not the best place to buy for several reasons. One, because it's very hard to buy the bottom. You generally will not be able to buy the bottom. Because the actual bottom of capitulation happens very fast, very often over the course of a couple hours, if not even less, and then moves very volatilely off the bottom, because what you've had is you've had somebody with a lot of money step in and say, all right, now's a good time to buy, and they're going to strategically place their buy orders, and at some point the big ones are going to start getting hit. Price will start slowly moving up, and it will create a funneling effect where everybody will start FOMOing in, and that pushes the price up, unfortunately. And this is a good time for FOMO to be pushing the price up, because normally FOMO kicks in at the top, at the very top. So here's the thing, though. You want to catch that fine line. I'm sure you've all seen the Wall Street psychological cheat sheet. See, the trick is to recognize a bullish movement for what it is in the early stages right here, and not in the latter stages. And just unfortunately, this is where you often see, I mean, all we have to do is look at volume, and you can look at any chart, any time frame, cryptocurrency, stocks, Forex.
Honey Badger don't care.
It
Honey
all
Badger don't give a shit.
It's all the same. Jinx Leet. Hey, thanks so much for the follow on Twitch, man. It's all the same. When you see a massive spike in buying volume at the top of an uptrend, you got to sell. I mean, you just got to sell, man, because that is dumb money buying into the market. That is retail buying in at the absolute worst time, and all they're doing is providing liquidity to smart money that was smart enough to buy here, or individuals like me who are smart enough here to recognize a rally for what it really was. And again, to be more honest, you know, that's giving myself a little bit too much credit. More than likely, I would have seen daily resistance broken right here, and then the pullback to test and hold. So anywhere right around here is where I would have been buying. And then I would have seen this a couple days later, and I would have been out, man. I would have been out. I would have been very happy to be out at 50% profit. Very happy to be out. That's a life-changing trade, man. Big life-changing trade. Okay, so after a brief segue into the psychology of retail traders, let's go down to the daily time frame. Excuse me. Let's go down to what's going on with Kyber Network right now and see what's going on. So, key rule. Without a significant change in volume or sentiment, do not expect the dominant trend to change. So do we see, so what do we see here? We see a very strong, very dominant downtrend right here with brief rallies. All rallies are to be shorted in a downtrend. Brief rallies that just provided liquidity to sellers. I mean, but you know, honestly, these are many market cycles inside a market cycle. We have 80% moves. Kyber Network is a very volatile asset, man. So very good opportunities that KNC has been able to trade. So what we're positing here is basically for the same thing. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for another volatile move like that, because when this coin moves, it moves. Kyber Network moves. So what do we see here? We've got a double test of support. We've got a curl up, and we do have some increasing bullish volume right here. Let's go take a look at a few. Well, we'll actually do that afterwards. We'll do our technical analysis first, and then we'll go look at some data metrics. All right, so let's look at volume profile and our moving averages. Yeah, interesting. So compared to everything else, look at the you've put in a lot of volume, man, a lot of accumulation going on right here with Kyber Network at this price level right here. I mean, just compare the volume by price, or excuse me, compare the volume by time here at the bottom, and also compare the volume profile. I mean, just an absolute monster spike in volume at this level right here, man. Very interesting. Very interesting. And right here, actually, right at this price level. All right, so what levels are we going to target? Well, we've got resistance here. We've got our daily that hasn't been able to close above that. Seems like a good place. And we also have this level right here. We've got some pretty good confluence there. Now, you can feel free to front run this area if you want. You can also see right here that we do have a bump in the LVN, or excuse me, in the volume profile, because there was some consolidation at this area. Not so much of the consolidation right here, although we do have a little bit of trading from it. We have resistance right here. We have tentative support right here on an attempted breakout of this range, although that was just one day of a pump. We have resistance again, resistance again. So this is the area that I'd be targeting, because this is obviously our local resistance area right here. For your short-term scalp, you are going to be targeting basically here, 39.72, as well as your 100. This is actually going to be, yeah, this is going to be your 100. Let me double check. Again. No, 55, my bad. Okay, so all right, so 192. All right. So I'd be actually looking at this in kind of a different way. There's two ways I would approach this. The first way I would approach this, is looking for another pump opportunity. And if you're looking for another pump opportunity, I mean, it does seem like an obvious place to be looking for an entry. Now, you have not been given, you haven't really been given, you've only been given one, maybe two, honestly one, bullish indication to be accumulating at these levels. So and that's volume. You have an increase in volume right here. Remember, we said without a significant change in volume or sentiment, then price is unlikely to, or excuse me, the dominant trend is unlikely to change. And we do see a fairly significant change in volume right around here. If we just take aggregate volume, we can see that it's pretty nil all throughout this level right here. So significantly higher here than the volume moving average. And we can just see the moving average on volume right here steadily rising. Now, price has sunk tighter and has been unable to get above local resistance right here, which is also corresponding with our 55 daily exponential moving average. So for a long-term trade, I would need to see a daily close above our 55 period exponential moving average. And that's not actually going to show up on my chart, but that's going to be coming in around 4,143 Satoshis right here, right around this level. That's also going to be congruent with, as we can see here, the largest area on the volume profile as well. That's going to be getting us back up into that resistance zone, which would also make it a good target for a short scalp right here. Secondary targets, so secondary and tertiary actually targets for those scalps are also going to be your local daily resistances right here, where price is unable to close above. Generally a good place to be putting on shorts. And honestly, still the same way that I would be playing this, because there's no confirmation. There's no confirmation of a bullish uptrend. Remember that when cryptocurrency moves, it moves. And as you can see here, what we're really looking for is we're looking for this. If you feel that this is the bottom, then naturally what would commence afterwards would be a similar movement to this. Now, I'm not saying the extent of this movement. I mean, this is a monster. This is a 600% valuation. Now, I am very bullish on Bitcoin in the long term. I do think that we have the strong potential to actually see some of those crazier numbers that you're going to see on, John McAfee's feed, for example, or, Tim Draper, or, all these things. I don't come out here and say numbers like that myself because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't get paid to be an oracle. I make a living as a trader. And the reason I've been able to be a trader for so long is because I'm pretty conservative and cautious. So, does it look like an attractive opportunity to catch a pump? Yes. However, there are a lot of risks. The risk here is, again, at an all-time low in the market. And when you're at something like an all-time low, my general bias is to assume the price will continue to make new all-time lows. Now, looking at what volume profile is telling me and looking at volume by time, I am kind of interested in looking at this. So I'm going to add this actually to my watch list and keep this on my radar. What am I going to be looking at for a long-term position? I'm going to be looking for a daily close above the 55 exponential moving average, because we really have not seen that until right here. So the last time we saw that was back in October of 2018, and we had the opportunity for a 40% trade. What were some other metrics that we could have seen to maybe capture some of these movements right here? We have extremely oversold conditions right here. We do have the Fisher cross up right here on this candle right here telling you to buy. That would have allowed you to capture this movement. We have the Fisher cross up right here on this candle telling you to buy. That would have allowed you to capture that movement. You would have been selling here. So although you would not have been able to capture the top using the Fisher, again, the Fisher is just to let you know, for me anyways, to confirm entries and exits. You do want to be using horizontal support and resistance as take profit targets. You'll be able to actually have limit orders in more likely areas that you won't be able to catch as quickly. And of course, unless you move down to a lower time frame. I'm sure a 4-hour Fisher cross under would have captured somewhere around here. Fisher transform right here, doing some interesting stuff, bottoming below zero. And bottoming below zero for me is not something that I like to see on the Fisher transform. Again, the Fisher is measuring the wave cycle of the market structure right here. So you can see that when we do bottom above zero, it's quite a bullish sign. Let me see if I can see an example of that. Not a lot of good examples with it on K and C. Here's an example where we do right here, bottom below zero, meaning that the downtrend is not over. Here is an example. So here's a decent top. Yeah, there's a decent example right here. So right here, we have a little bit of a dip, and we're topping above the zero line right here at this point in time. Kind of piercing down a little bit, faking us out. But overall, I'd say topping below the zero line right here, letting us know that the downtrend is not complete. And although we have a nice little dip in that area, price does continue to rally back up and make another stab. So I don't really like to see rejection from the neutral zone or topping below zero. I don't like to see that. Daily candlestick looks like it could turn into a reversal candlestick right here, and we are right on that support level. So overall, again, and especially because this coin moves so volatilely, I definitely want to wait. Now, if I look at average true range, what would I want to see to be out of this? So average true range is 192 Satoshis on the daily time frame. So I am going to take the swing low and measure down 192. It's 193, but we'll take it. Okay. So be looking for opportunities to accumulate in this LVN right below price with a stop loss set here, managing my risk at that level. Again, that's why I wouldn't be putting on a position right here. If I were to be putting on a position right here, I would have to be setting my stop loss tighter. And honestly, waiting for a little bit of a bullish reaction. Let's go down into the lower time frames and see if we do see anything interesting. Let's start off with the 4-hour chart. Yeah, 4-hour chart rejecting from the 55 exponential moving average, which we were holding as a little bit of support. Also from our 100 simple moving average there as well, after finding rejection from our 200 exponential moving average here on the 4-hour chart. So we do have this nice ascending pattern right here. Draw a nice little trend line right here. Doesn't seem too bad. Might not be too bad now. Again, we talked about being on the support level. I might be okay with a speculative bounce up here to at least previous resistance right here. But overall, on the daily time frame, what do I want to see for a big trade, which I think Hybrid Network has the potential to put in here, just based on how volatilely it's moved before in the past? I do definitely want to see at least a daily close above resistance. So if we can get up here, if we can get a daily close above local resistance at 39.51, I'll be okay with that. Then I can almost definitely expect we'll be going at least to the 55 on the daily time frame, if not to the 100, because we haven't been able to do that for a while. So I'd be excited to see that. That would put us in for an okay trade right there. Again, you can go ahead and take the third touch off the trend line if you want. Just keep in mind that I don't trade chart patterns. It's fairly risky, and I do want to see a little bit of bullish reaction off this level before I go stacking it along. So hopefully that was helpful, man. I do like to do, especially when somebody requests it, I like to give the full depth analysis. But again, the important thing is to start off on the daily time frame and then continue to zoom down. And yeah, let's do BNB. Hey, Lucas, what do you all think of WLO? I don't really have an opinion on it. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, my friend. Smickmoney asks, what other indicators do I use? Again, you kind of saw how I approach a chart. I approach a chart by taking everything off and looking at price action. The next thing that I'll start doing is looking for confluence after I've mapped out horizontal support and resistance. I'll be looking for confluence with my volume profile. I'll be looking for confluence with significant moving averages. I'll be looking for confluence with, actually that's about it. For areas on the chart, moving averages and the volume profile. Putting more weight on the volume profile and the most weight on price action, horizontal support and resistance. Following that, the only momentum oscillator that I use is the Fisher transform, and then I use average true range just to tell me basically should I be day trading this this asset today, and also it helps me set my stop loss. So, but for day-to-day trading, my chart just pretty much looks like this. Let's see here. Hey, Jeff Handsome, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining the stream. Can I look back at BTC? Yeah, sure. Give me a second. Captain Canuck, hey, I love that name, man, says, thanks, bro. Loving your TA and teachings. I just subscribed. Also nailed the 1.65% Ethereum short during that last drop while watching you. Cheers. Hey, happy you got that, man. Good looking out. Is the EMA indicator showing on the chart on TradingView? I'm unable to find it. No, this is my custom indicator. Again, it's nothing super special, man. I just wrote it myself. It just allows me to have all the EMAs that I want in one nice bundle. Depending on what time frame that I'm looking at, I'll be looking at the 8, the 21, the 55, and then I'll be looking at my 100s and 200s. I like to find confluence. You know, I don't have them generally all on the chart at the same time, otherwise it just gets absolutely crazy. I generally more use them on the higher time frames when I'm looking to establish and find confluence for my horizontal support and resistance. So if I have a level of horizontal support and resistance and I find that there is a significant moving average there as well, hey, I've got confluence. If there's a high volume node there as well, you can better be sure that I'm putting on a short at that resistance level. Just long support, short resistance, guys. Most people don't do that. All right, so we will do BNB, and if I have time, J10, hopefully I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. I'll try to take a look at Tron. It's about 1 hour in, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and take a 2-minute break. 2 minutes. I'm going to go grab some water. 2-minute break. I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about some news, and then we'll do some more technical analysis on Binance Bucks and Tron if we get some time to it. And then just to answer your question, Captain Canuck, yeah. So I have them listed here. I'll just pull it up, man. I'll just pull it up. So this might be slightly aggravating. So the only standard indicator that I have on my chart that you're going to be able to get on TradingView is going to be volume. And volume profile if you have a paid account. Yeah, you do have that was a question earlier. You do have to have a paid account to access the volume profile. If you have a paid account, when you go into indicators, you can go to volume profile right here, and you can use fixed range, session volume, which I use for day trading, and visible range. So I have a unique approach to day trading. I don't use momentum oscillators like most people do, unless I can, but most often I just take scalps based off VPSV. I have a full webinar about this on how I trade VPSV for subscribers to the premium trading group.
It's over 9,000.
This is just a very simple moving averages script that I've wrote myself. It just allows me to have all the EMAs that I want. Again, this is available to the subscribers as well. I wrote this script. I wrote this script with a little bit of help from people who know more than I do about coding. This is just the Fisher transform. It allows me to look at multiple time lengths. I cannot take credit for writing that. Somebody else wrote that feature. All I've done really is help make it very pretty and help clearly identify overbought and oversold levels on the Fisher transform, which is a much better indicator. But the Fisher transform is going to be able to indicate overbought, oversold. It's going to show divergence. It's also going to give buy and sell signals with crossovers and cross unders, and it's also going to show, maybe more importantly than that, when you expect a trend to continue. If you're rejecting from the neutral zone, either from below or from above. And then below that, I have average true range. Average true range measures volatility. If average true range is low, I'm not going to be day trading an asset. If average true range is high, I definitely will be day trading an asset because that means there's volatility. And I also use it to calculate my stop loss. So generally a good rule of thumb is on a lower time frame, something like the 4 hour or the 1 hour, 3.5x ATR is going to be a good stop loss. The traditional way that I like to use ATR though is 1 ATR below the swing low is where I like to set my stop loss. And again, this particular ATR script was also written for me by a friend. So I've given all these scripts to the subscribers. This one right here, again, this isn't very fancy. Anybody, you can Google how to make this. I don't want to take a lot of credit and sound like I'm super amazing. This one's a little bit more nuanced. This one's pretty hard to get your hands on. Again, this one was written by a friend and then improved by me. And then this one was written by a friend as well. So this one I've given to subscribers. This one I've given to subscribers. And if anybody wants it as a subscriber, I'll be happy to give that one to them as well, the ATR Precision. When we return, again, I'm going to take a 2-minute break, guys, and I'll be right back. And when we return, I'm going to go over some news articles, and then when I get done with that, we'll do BNB and TRX. But before I do that, guys, I do have to give the traditional thing. If this is your first time to the channel, we're here every day, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for technical analysis. And we're going to be coming on in the evenings on Saturday and Sunday. It just allows me to spend a little bit more time with my family and really focus on my group during the weekends as well, guys. If you guys would like to have access to the premium trading group, you'll have access to all my trade signals and setups, as well as one-on-one mentorship and support. You'll get access to my webinar series designed to teach you to be a profitable trader from scratch. Don't need any previous experience. Would help if you had some, though, I'm not going to lie. But I do my best to walk you through the complicated topics of technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and market sentiment. And that is an evolving project as we go. You'll also get access to our database library resources filled with webinars, PDFs, courses, seminars, workbooks, everything you need to supplement your education and learning. Curated news. Scott curates the news every day that he thinks is valid as well. Other people pitch in and help that out as well. You'll get access to the other setups from the other cracking cryptocurrency analysts and traders as well as access to the private Discord, the members lounge, and the VIP day trading voice chat. We add stuff all the time. So, like, am I forgetting anything? Feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know. It's cool stuff. It's where I hang out all the time. Anyways, guys, I'll be back in about 2 minutes. I'm going to go get some water, and then we'll do some news, and we'll also do some more technical analysis, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be right back. All right, guys, and we're back. Let's just pop over real quick and check in with our good friend, Mr. Bitcoin. Minute chart making some volatile moves right here in the last 30 minutes over the last pretty much the exact same movement here that we saw in Ethereum. Nice rejection here from the point of control, pullback and a rejection from resistance right here. Yep, still not anything that I want to take part of right now. Let's go check in with our Mr. Friend Ethereum as well. Four-hour chart. Still holding in there. 30-minute chart. Excuse me. Still holding in there as well. All right, so I do want to talk about some stuff. Let's switch over here. All right, so kind of something that was interesting to me. I've been following this. As it's been developing. Overstock security token trading platform T0 went live. Now, this isn't going to mean a whole lot to a lot of retail traders, but it is something to keep your eyes on. Security tokens are really hot talk. Really hot talk, not so much around retail traders. I don't think they're really focusing on the right things most of the time. But when you kind of get around the scene like I do, and when you talk to what other people are interested in talking about, especially people who more focus on traditional markets, they're really interested in security tokens. So, you know, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not out here saying I've never shilled an ICO. I don't have projects on that I'm not friends with the team. They're part of the community that I run with, or I really like their project. I don't do anything like that. I only talk about projects that I really like from a fundamental thought on that aspect. Hey Jacob, I did a full analysis of ZERP, man. So if you just want to rewind after the show, you'll be able to find that. I do Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then ZERP pretty much every show. Sometimes I switch ZERP out for Litecoin. Sometimes it's EOS. It's kind of whatever is the flavor of the day, honestly. But today I did do ZERP. So if you are an accredited investor, you can trade T0 security tokens through Dinosaur Financial Corp. LLC. That's going to be the broker-dealer. So for those of you who are familiar with more traditional lending platform, not lending platform, but traditional broker exchange type relationships or platforms, you'll understand. So you're going to be able to trade currently a whole lot of, let's see here. I wanted to pull this up. What was the, nope, not this one. Let me find the link. Here it is. Here's their STO calendar right here. So these are going to be the tokens that you can currently trade or that you can currently accumulate right now, basically through their token sell platform. Billion App, Cryptune, Sports Ledger, The Elephant, FitBlocks. Here's going to be the upcoming ones: Mobu, Health Bank, Adexa, LXDX, Nexo, IPWI, TradeCloud. and then past ones here as well. The Seco gain fee, Mint Health rise, blah 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 blah. So not saying anything, not giving any recommendations to do ICOs. Again, I've never gotten involved in ICOs. It's just not my way of doing things. And here's the thing that I do want to talk about. ICOs aren't gone. A lot of people think that, oh, just ICOs are dead forever. Wait until the next bull market. Wait until the next bull market. You're not hearing a lot about ICOs right now because there's nobody with deep pockets that is interested in buying into a launching cryptocurrency. Because so what? It's just going to go to zero. I mean, look at what happened to Grin. Grin was very widely anticipated to come out. It hit the exchanges, and all the miners immediately dumped their tokens that they mined, their coins that they mined off the Mimblewimble chain. Now, I do think that Mimblewimble is one of the most revolutionary technologies that has been introduced into cryptocurrency. I do like Grin. I like Beam as well. But you're going to see that initial dump. So until we actually see some, again, more liquidity, more volatility, more interest in individuals trading, active signs of accumulation, anything like ICOs or picking up, long-term holdings at this point in the market is just not my preference. It's just not. I would rather pay a premium on confirmation of a bull market then attempt to buy lower, and then price goes lower. And now I'm going to try to convince myself that it's a good idea to scale into the position backwards to pyramid down. I don't do that, guys. You do not ladder buy into a trade if you don't have that as a pre-planned area. So for example, if you're in consolidation and you're wanting to exploit the psychology of retail traders for where they're going to have their stop losses placed, then that's unacceptable. You could say, well, stop losses are likely to be here, here, and here, so I'm going to be buying in those areas, and then I'll have my stop loss right here. But unfortunately, what most retail traders do is that they'll buy something, price will move against them, they'll be close to their stop loss, and they'll say, you know what, I'm just going to move my stop loss down, I'm going to double up here, I'm going to get a better average entry. That's the worst thing that you can do as a trader, because the best possible thing that could happen is that you go back to break even, in which case you'll probably panic sell and be like, oh, okay, I didn't lose anything, I'm out of the trade, all right. Or you'll get a slight profit. Price will go like a little bit above. Now you're in profit, and then you'll see one red can. You'll be like, oh no, and you'll sell. So the best thing that can happen when you ladder into a position that way without a pre-planned, without a plan, is that you break even or have a slight profit. The worst thing that can happen is that the price will continue to move down. You'll move your stop loss again. You'll double up, and this is pretty much what bag holders did for all of 2018. And we all know why that hasn't worked out for them. Laddering backwards into a position terrifies me. I like scaling into a position as I go. So yeah, if I set up a trade and I hit my first take profit target, I'll add half to my position. I don't double my position. I buy progressively smaller lots. If the market's strongly trending and there's confirmation that the market's trending, I've taken the risk of my first position off the table and locked in profit. That's usually where I'll throw on something like a trailing stop. And then I'll just continue to ladder up, to pyramid up into my position as the trade continues to go into my favor. Because each time that I ladder up, I'll adjust my stop loss, locking in the profits from all the previous positions. Because that way, I'm only exposed to risk. Say my original stop loss was 3%. My first take profit level hits, I adjust my stop loss to 3%. I go over all this actually in my last webinar with examples, as well as a bunch of other stuff. All right. Very little sleep last night, guys. I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning working on my most recent webinar for the subscribers. And then I had to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, lol. And okay, thanks. Hey, no problem, man. THC will also pay for cannabis in dispensaries. Interesting. Yeah, all coins died during the bear market. It's coming back alive with a vengeance. Yeah, they're interested. I mean, the interest in STOs, ICOs is rising, and it's going to reach fever pitches when Bitcoin gets back above 6,000. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. They're not gone forever, man. Right on, man. Yeah, Jay. a lot of vehemence, man, but I respect the passion, man. Yeah, the trend is your friend until the end, man. So all rallies are to be shorted in a bear market, and all dips are to be longed in a bull market. Quite simple. All right, so I do want to give you guys a point out about this. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. This actually hasn't come across my radar personally, which is interesting because the amount of emails that I receive from people wanting me to shill their projects, the amount of emails that I receive from, or DMs in Discord, trying to get me into scams or, asking, hey, man, can you send 0.1 ether to this address? And I mean, it's relentless, man. And especially being a, kind of a YouTube personality. Again, I don't really think I'm that popular or anything, but whatever. But this one did come across on my news stream, so I figured I'd talk about it and just give you guys a warning if you guys have not heard about it or if you come across it, just to completely avoid it. This is called the Bitcoin Revolution. It's what they're calling themselves. And it's a total scam. I did a little bit of research on this. It's just your typical get rich quick type scam. I don't know the particulars of what they want you to do specifically, but really, guys, listen. Here's the thing: the bear market's been very hard for a lot of people, and when there's a lot of money involved in any kind of asset, all the scammers are going to come out, and it's really bad right now too. I mean, because a lot of people are hurting for money. It's hard to get legitimate money from the cryptocurrency space right now. Most traders are not being successful in their trading endeavors right now because they're listening to TradingView traders. Interesting actually trading strategy. Look at TradingView. Look at the traders that post chart ideas every day and then counter trend trade them. Try that. It's a good strategy. Works out most of the time. So the MFSA, which is the Malta Financial Service Agency, released an official document yesterday warning people about a scam called Bitcoin Revolution. It allegedly operates like all other fraudulent schemes. It just promises, lots of money real quickly, just it's all good. You know what I mean? So there was a little bit more information on this on a couple other websites that I found out. But again, I don't know the specifics of what they want you to do. But essentially, what I understand is that you get involved in the scheme, you can obtain lots of money real quick in just a few amounts of time. Nothing like this is ever going to be real, guys. There's just the opportunity. Like if you on Facebook, I see posts like work from home and earn 60K. DM me. It's all bullshit, dude. It's all bullshit. None of that stuff exists. If you want to work from home and make 60K a year, then you gotta find something that you're good at, find a way for people to pay you for it, and then grind yourself into the dust. Let's turn that down just a little bit. Thanks so much, Scott, for the sub on the sub on Twitch, man. Highly appreciate it, man. You're my dude. Yeah, I know, dude. You did that, Scott. You did that. You blew out the eardrums. Yeah, I did have to adjust that sound, man. But thanks, brother. I highly appreciate that, man. Okay, so if you guys hear about Bitcoin Revolution, apparently there's some other names that it's going by. But yeah, just in general, if you come across anything that says earn profits real quick, it's not real, man. And then the last thing that I do want to talk about, so this was posted on Reddit about 13 hours ago. This was a public service announcement. LocalBitcoins.com was compromised. If you attempted to access the Local Bitcoins forum, it would redirect you to a login, pretending like you had been logged out. And this was actually a phishing site, and they were capturing your login credentials, and actually funds were being stolen. So a follow-up right here that was just posted here about 8 hours ago from the community manager on the Local Bitcoins subreddit. Said that we'd like to inform everybody today that at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning, Local Bitcoins had detected a security vulnerability, and an unauthorized source was able to access and send transactions from a number of affected accounts. Outgoing transactions were temporarily disabled while we investigated the case. This was a third-party software. Oh my God. Who could have thought, man? Who could have thought it was a third-party who could have thought it was a third-party software? So apparently they were using some kind of plugin for their forum utilization for their users. That was an exploit was found in that, and login credentials were able to be stolen. So funds were stolen. So if you guys do have a local Bitcoins account, if you have some cheddar on there, I'd go check that out. Make sure that you are again, there's lots of stuff that you can do to verify that you're on the right website. Basically, if you're at any point in time, if you're on a website and it asks you to re-log in and you're already logged in, like, don't do that. Go back to the main page, click on the login. That's the way to do it. If it says anything other than the normal thing up there, again, make sure it's HTTPS. Make sure that you got that, little lock symbol up there in your URL bar. There's lots of good YouTube streams that you guys can figure out for account security, guys. My general recommendations are, of course, for every exchange that you're going to be trading on, pretty much for every account that you have, use a different email address. That way, if one gets hacked, you're only getting exposed to the security vulnerability from that one account. Use two-factor authentication on all your emails, on all your different email accounts, and all your exchanges that are all exchanges. You have to use two-factor authentication, just hands down. Use it any and everywhere you can. There are more complicated procedures that you can go through, like using a VPN, which I do. What's the word I'm looking for? Disassociating your browsing habits. So, for example, I have a browser that I do my cryptocurrency trading in. I have a browser that I do my general web browsing, working with my team, writing pieces for not only the community, but for the blog posts, for the website, things of that nature. Scrolling YouTube, reading news articles, things like that. I use different web browsers for all that stuff. Am I paranoid? I don't know, but I'm pretty safe. I don't suffer. I've never been the victim of a big, vulnerability scam. I run a pretty tight box around here. If I've got some software that I don't know, I run it in a VM. And again, I'm not a big techno nerd. I just know. I mean, that's just basic everyday stuff that you definitely need to know in this world. Kappa, man. All right, guys. Let's go back to the charts. Ugh, definitely getting a little tired, man. It's been a long day. Been a long day. Okay. So we were going to talk about BNB. You guys didn't see that. Let's go look at BNB to BTC, and then we'll come back here and look at BNB to USDT. But I assume every time when people ask me to look at a chart, they want me to look at, they generally want me to look at BTC. Here's a few things. So BNB announced today that they were going to allow staking. And to stake, you were going to need to have over 10,000 BNB. So pretty big, pretty huge run up here in BNB. 60% move here in just a little bit. Where are we at here for BNB BTC? Oh, look at where we're at. We're right at resistance. We are right at resistance. Here was your nice call signal right here. You've got your 100, excuse me. This is your 100 exponential moving average right here. You've got your 100 simple coming in right here. Let me make sure that I'm not being crazy because I change my colors frequently. So, yep. Okay, great. So that is absolutely right. You had your nice little breakout right there of your 100 exponential. Price moved up, pulled back, bounced right off of it as well. You also get this nice, you get your nice 55 above your 100 exponential moving average right here. Very bullish crossover signal right here. Would expect to see a little bit of a pullback at this point in time right here. We've got this HVN coming in right around here, as well as your previous consolidation area before this last bullish upthrust. Volume's kind of high. Now, here's the thing. We can see some continuation of this. It all just depends on what price decides to do right here at this previous resistance zone. You have resistance here. You try to put in a little bit of support here. Rejection, though, once you break down. Confirm rejection right there. Resistance here. And now you're right back up at that area. So always want to make sure that you're zooming out to look at your trades. Fisher Transform looking a little overbought right here, giving a little bit of the crossover on the daily time frame. And actually, it's interesting about this. Let's look at the Fisher. If we put in a top right here, will also be bearish divergence. So, yep, pretty significant resistance area here for BNB. Although BNB, another thing about BNB too is that it can often be viewed as a leading indicator for the market. So when people are putting on BNB, it generally means that they're going to be trading more. And we're seeing these really nice bullish movements in some of the altcoins right now. I mean, a lot of the altcoins up, 30, 40, 50, 60%. And that's because of, if we go back and look at the volatility of Bitcoin, again, when Bitcoin's not volatile to trade, when it's not profitable to trade, you're going to see opportunities flow into the other currencies. So, thoughts on BNB? All right, well, it's pretty simple, man. We're going to see how price responds to this resistance point right here. Again, not really seeing. This is nice. This is nice bullish. This is nice bullish movement right here. Nice growing bullish momentum right here. Don't see necessarily a blow off top. For a blow off top, you'd want to see something like this, where you have a volume spike that is really, head and shoulders above everything else. This is more just very bullish, trending, consistent volume, steadily growing volume on the way up. Now we are at that resistance level, and you are seeing a little bit of a reaction from it on the daily time frame. If we go down to the 30-minute chart, we can see. Yeah, we can see kind of the resistance, kind of the reaction here against that movement, against the proximity of that resistance line right there. Again, when we're drawing resistance lines as well, I do want to tell you guys that you should be drawing them like this. You want to be drawing them with a crayon and not with a fine tip marker, because all that's important is the zone. And then you just want to use, if you want the actual way to do it, you can go down to a lower time frame, and you can use something like average true range. To go, so whatever average true range is on something like the 4-hour time frame, above or below that level, is a pretty good variation right there. Gives you a good radius to be looking to put on your sells when you're getting confirmation from the market that the trend is about to change. So looking at the daily time frame, things look extremely bullish right here. Again, we've had that 55 over the 100 exponential moving average crossover. Again, we're about to get the 100 simple over that as well. If we throw on. And again, this is not usually the way that I do stuff as well, but we will for the sake of this. If we look at a couple other factors here as well. Yeah, I mean, just everything looks real nice, guys. We had this really nice bullish run up where price is pretty much above all our exponential moving averages. And then obviously we have an extremely volatile movement down. Price enters into accumulation for quite a while. We have a pretty violent spike down to tap into liquidity to clear everybody out. So this is the way that you're looking for. These are long-term stop loss hunts right here, where you put in a lot of consolidation, you have a volatile movement down that pretty much wipes out everybody's stop losses, then the bags get filled, and then the bull run starts. So BNB absolutely trending right now. If I were in the trade, I would be waiting for confirmation to be taking profits. Again, looks like a good area to potentially be looking at that and to be looking at re-entry upon retests of HVN, or you're waiting for your your moving averages to catch up with price. Now let's go ahead and throw all that extra stuff off because we just want our exponentials. So let's go ahead and throw on actually our 13 and our 8, because now we're looking for a little bit of support. All right, so we've got our first area of support coming in right here at this level, which was a little bit of previous consolidation before this latest upthrust. However, as we can clearly see, significant support is all the way down here at our breakout zone. Now, we definitely would not be looking, again, this is not going to be anywhere where your stop loss is going to be. I would say that getting down below this level, if we go down to something like the 4-hour time frame and use average true range. So as we can see on the 4-hour time frame, we've got our moving averages moving up into this area. Here we've got our 55, we've got our 100 as well, our 200 exponential moving average coming in right there. So we've got a lot of confluence coming into this area. If BNB is able to hold this level, then again, be looking to potentially enter into a trade here. If you're not in the trade, be looking to enter here as we pull down to this level and having a stop loss right underneath this area. Again, somebody testing fire alarms. Yeah, there's just a lot of confluence right here in this zone. Yeah, high volume node, nice spike here on the high volume node. Let's actually move that down a little bit better. Sorry, I do just want to be, yep, I got it about as accurate as I can on the daily time frame as well. You can see here we had previous resistance. So as we came up here, we were expecting resistance here as well, but we were just able to blast right through it. Now, if this pulls back and forms support right here, this will be a nice SR flip, and then we will look for this resistance level to get broke as well. As you can already see, we've had this, we'd consider this clearly a test of resistance, because all we'd have to do is just move our resistance level down a little bit. Seems to be accurate, you know, as well. We're not just targeting the highs, we're targeting the overall zone. And if we wanted to be actually specific, the correct way to do it would be to actually look at this area in the market. Let's go ahead and start deleting some stuff here, guys. Sorry, I don't want you to get confused as I'm wobbling around. The correct area would be right here, because that's your actual, the daily isn't able to open above this level, excuse me, close above this level. So a daily open and close above 0019,786, or I mean, really, we're getting close to that psychological level of 200,000 satoshis. Excuse me, 20,000 satoshis. That's really that nice psychological area that price is not going to be able to get over. This is also because it's an important round number. You know, Bennett just put out an amazing video on trading the psychology of round numbers. So go check that out if you haven't had the opportunity for it. Basically, what we'd be looking for a very bullish movement is, I wouldn't be surprised to see a big wick up above this area to tap into liquidity, just as we saw over here. Again, this is going to be our first test of resistance ever since the breakdown right here. So we're just coming back into previous territory right here, and we'll just see how price responds to this level. Again, we typically short resistance and long support. So looking for re-entry down here in this area, assuming that holds. We've got confluence there on the 4-hour time frame with our longer exponential moving averages coming in. However, on the daily time frame, don't really have them coming in until down here. So that would be putting in this area right here. Hey, Starman Jack, what's going on? Good looking out. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Yes, Wally, I guess the Bitcoin revolution does infect everything. Yeah, Canuck, you're absolutely right. You know, trading against social sentiment is actually a powerful way to trade. You want to exploit the psychology of retail traders. Hey, Uberkosh, sorry, man, I don't speak, I can't understand Cyrillic, man. I betcha Google Translate can, though. And Starman Jack, again, it's very good to see you. Very glad you could catch me live. Let's do this over here. Go to Arma. Well, Arma is Spanish for weapon. Oh, shots fired in the chat. All right. All right, guys. Yeah, so if BNB can go ahead and open and close a daily candle above that nice psychological level, again, you could say 20,000 if you want. For me, that actual daily resistance based on closing basis for daily candles is going to be coming in at 19,786. Where's our next significant resistance level after that? Well, it seems to me that our next significant resistance level after that is going to be right here. So that's our daily resistance candle, guys. And it takes guts to put on, big trades like this, guys. It really does. But I mean, there's just nothing else in between. If we look at the volume profile, I mean, it's just shallow. There's just nothing here, guys. There's just nothing here. There's no significant resistance until resistance. It doesn't mean that price won't. Doesn't mean that price does have to go here. It doesn't mean that. It just means that there's no other metric that I can use to understand what's going on here. See a little bit of bearish divergence on the Fisher right here, coming up on resistance. I mean, flying real high. But, you know, one positive thing about this that I do like is that if I was expecting to see the end of an uptrend, I would want to see a blow off top like this, where you just have a volume spike that's really unlike, you know, anything around you. And we don't really see that right here. We see nice, steady, progressively growing volume. So I quite like this. I don't think that BNB is done playing. So I would be looking for entry down here right around these levels, or definitely buying into the breakout if we're able to open and close a daily candle above resistance right here, because the opportunity there is in my mind just a no-brainer. And that would actually be testing the all-time high. I mean, we're back at that 50% mark. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, when coins are only putting in, like, lower highs and lower highs and lower highs, yeah, I can totally understand people saying, like, oh, it's just a sucker's rally, blah, blah, blah. Like, look, this was a sucker's rally, okay? This is not a sucker's rally. This is an uptrend. I'm sorry, guys. Daily time frame. You know, all your 200 periods, your 200 period exponential broken, your 100 period exponential broken, your 55 exponential period broken. I mean, what more do you want? It's a goddamn uptrend. All right, guys. All righty then. Now, here's the thing about TRX. A lot of people are bullish on TRX. And TRX is a little bit different for me because of the following reasons. So, again, we've got a... Okay. So, coming up on resistance right here, the first first high volume node after this shallow area of the high volume node right here. Our next area that we're going to be looking at for support is going to be this level right here. On the daily time frame. Now, here's the thing. If we actually look at volume, and when we're looking at TRX, what we can actually see is that we have a blow off top right here. We have a blow off top right here. And then now we have an attempted movement up to basically the local high on very, very weak volume. So what I'm actually expecting from TRX is not to be able to break this high. I'm not really expecting that. The alternative strategy is that we put in an SFP where we do go slightly above to tap into liquidity and then move down. You know, if we look at the, again, we have the fissure right here. Coming into our overbought territory again, just as it did right here, just as it did right here, just as it did right here, just as it did right here. All right. Now, while you cannot merely trade off of this, you can also see here that price is moving up on lowering volatility. All right. And when price is moving up on lowering volatility, and we're in overbought territory, and we're moving up after a blow off top on low volume, that to me shows weakness in the bulls. Now, we do see this nice daily candle today, up 7.39%. But this to me almost seems like the blow off top that I'm kind of looking for. Now, again, it's not the blow off top because the volume is not there. But what I'm saying is when you see price just stuttering and sputtering and sputtering and sputtering, I mean, look at the uptrend right here, quite nice, quite strong. And then you just have this, you know, kind of same, you have three black crows. You completely retrace this on the bullish movement. But just looking at volatility and momentum, which you can clearly see with average true range as well, but also in price action. We just see that same kind of sputtering and stuttering, and then one nice strong bullish candle right here, getting a negative reaction on the daily as well right here. So let's actually go into our lower time frames and see. Yep. So we do have Again, going down to our lower time frames, you do kind of see that same type of blow off top. Again, this is irrespective of stuff because this is a very low time frame as well. So the volume is going to be relative to that as well. So the last TRX trade that put on was the break of the falling wedge for us as well. And now actively looking again, we're back at resistance and looking to take that to the downside. I don't see the strength in the daily time frame on TRX. So this is actually one of the active positions right here. It just seems like a no-brainer, man. I try to take the no-brainer trades. Weakness in the bulls. Nice little attempted stab up right here. Now, I could be completely wrong. Again, trading is 50-50, man. It's actually 33, 33, 33 because price can go up, down, or sideways. But not a gambling man except for when I press that button, and I've pressed my button, man, and I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm going to short TRX. Eli back, man. Thank you so much for the $5 tip, man. Highly appreciated, man, for being one of the good ones. No, sir. You are one of the good ones, good friend. You are. But thank you so much for the support, man. So yeah, I don't want to rain on anybody's TRX parade, but yeah, definitely want to take this to the downside. Definitely want to take TRX to the downside. I mean, the potential is just there, man. Looking at the daily time frame, where do we have our first moving average support? It's about 26, 27% below us, and significant horizontal support about 33% below us. So what would I rather do? Would I rather go long for an opportunity of 30% moving into resistance on weak momentum when everybody's screaming that Tron is going to 1,000 sats right now? Or do I see the weakness in the bulls? I see the falling volatility, the falling volume, and say to myself, you know what? There's a good opportunity right here for a short. I like it. Now, I'm going to have to tighten that up because, again, on the daily time frame, not going to allow myself to incur risk like that. So what I'm actually going to do is probably do 16. Now, again, the subscribers have full access to the actual SL. I'm just plotting out a hypothetical one for you guys. All right. One thing to keep in mind, too, is to watch out for a potential SFP as well. So if you wanted to play this a little bit more tightly, say you wanted to enter here, maybe you could use a very tight or a fairly tight stop. And that position, again, if we do end up testing the range high again, attempting, in my opinion, to put in an SFP pattern, a swing failure pattern, where price will go slightly above and then reject, then perhaps you could look at basically entering here with a stop loss equivalent at that level. So no need to take a massive loss. Again, timing is difficult, but as long as your fundamental idea is correct and you're paying attention to what pivotal moments are in the market, then you'll do all right. Nice big reversal candles like this, great opportunities. When I see that basically that everything is getting weak and weak and weak and weak and weak on longer time frames as well, good opportunities that I see. Does it take less money for a bull to jack up the price on a low market cap? Yeah, I mean, the lower, well, it depends on what the 24-hour volume is. So if the 24-hour, and it depends on what the order book looks like. So you just have to calculate that out for each position. So, if somebody has, so say somebody's trading with $20 million, and they want to put, $3 million into a short position on something that they can go short on. Then it's going to be fairly. All they're doing is waiting for an opportunity for the order book to be thin, for the ask side to be thin on the order books, and then what they can do is if they know that they can market buy up. Let me paint the full picture. So a couple ways that this can play out. So say you have somebody with deep pockets that bought low and price is quite high, and they're trying to incentivize traders to buy in, because when traders see big candles like that. Retail traders' instinct is to buy because they think, oh my God, price just moved up 4% or whatever. I need to capture that movement. Price is going to continue to go even higher. I need to buy right now. No, what you need to do is sell on those big green candles. That's when you need to do your selling. It's just it's just the opposite of what your mind will tell you what to do, and that's why you need to be exploiting the psychology of retail traders to stop being a retail trader, in my opinion. So it would take, if there is low 24-hour volume, if there's a thin order book, it's going to take less money for somebody to jack the price up. So say, for example, I had $1 million worth of something, and I wanted to incentivize traders to be purchasing something equal to $1 million. Because remember, if I can't just market sell $1 million. I'm going to need to ladder that. And I'm going to need to incentivize traders kind of into a frothy area where a lot of people are going to be buying. I have to really trick traders into buying so I can offload my bags on them, because otherwise I'm going to slip the market. I'm going to move the market when I just dump, and the market's just going to tank. So I need to offset that somehow so that I can get a good price for all my coins. So to do that, you have to incentivize traders to buy in. You do that by doing SFPs. So when price goes above local highs, people are like, oh my God, we just made a new high. I need to buy. No, that's generally when you want to sell. Oh my God, price just moved up on a huge candle. I need to buy. No, that's also probably where you want to sell. So yeah, I mean, TRX can go up a little bit more here, but and my trade can be invalidated. Again, I'm not an oracle. I'm not a crystal baller. I don't know what the market's going to do. I just make my living taking statistical trades where I see pattern recognition, where the trades are in my favor, and all the tools in my tool belt that I've learned to use to help my fundamental understanding of the way that market cycles work, all give me confirmation as well. So yeah, all my technicals give me confirmation on this. Just looking at the overall market, looking at social media sentiment. I mean, sentiment for Tron is, you know what social media sentiment was for for Bitcoin on December 17th, 2017. You know what you should have done? Sold. Oh yeah, IOP. I was keeping my eye on IOP. As you can see, look right here. IOP. Boom. Big spike in buying. Big spike in limit buys, actually, over the last really recent amount of time, man. So actually, I'm kind of excited about IOP because when I see something like this on the market depth ratio, this is pretty bullish to me. Now let's go see if the technicals line up with that. I've been keeping my eye on IOP for you, man. All right, so, interesting enough, this was my old chart for IOP. I didn't make this after we had a conversation. I made this, somebody had requested IOP a long time back on the stream, and I made this chart. So what do we see? What do we see going on? Daily time frame does not look good, I'm not going to lie. So looking at the market depth ratio, again, I'm trying to pay attention to this as well because I do see some big spikes in buying. We saw a big spike in buying at 503. And we're seeing a big spike in buying now at, okay, so sorry, so this is not going to be correct, 5:03, and this is going to be 1:26, 2:03 a.m. Okay, so let's go, oh, sorry, let's go to the daily. Okay, interesting that it's not reporting that accurately. Okay, so on the daily, this is dropping, but if we go to the weekly, the way this is, okay, so I had to refresh the page. Sorry, so you can see my error there. Okay, so we saw big spikes in buying at 5:03 and around 2 to 2:30, 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning last night. So let's actually go take a look. So yesterday at 5:30, which is going to be around 1700. Yeah, so interesting. So yep, boom, 1700 right there. You had a 4.51% trade. Let's go look. Let's see when we would have gotten that signal. We would have gotten that signal at 5:03 p.m. Would that have allowed us to catch that trade? There we go. It's back over here. So 17. Yeah. Pretty powerful, guys. So here's the 5-minute chart. Oh, sorry, that's January. What the heck is going on here, guys? Why are you messing with my emotions? Okay, so 1900. So we want the 25th. We want the 25th. At 1700. So right here. 1715. Okay, so we would have gotten the signal in between this candle and this candle. Big spike in buying. 5-minute chart right here. So here's 5 o'clock. We got the signal at 5:03. I know I'm doing some like ultra day trading stuff right here, but just bear with me. Yeah, so right here on this candle right here. Is when you would have gotten that signal from VC depth, and you could have had the potential to use a trailing stop, buy right there, use like a 1% trailing stop. You could have netted yourself a 2% profit on that trade. So if you guys aren't using VC depth, go check that out. Now, situation doesn't look good now. Why? Because the market has completely reverted, completely disrespected that area. We see a net loss of buyers, and we also see a net loss of sellers as well. And that's not good to see. A fall of open interest. When we see a fall of open interest, we see decline in price, no matter which way you want to cut it. Because even though there's going to be more sellers, because we're in a bear market, so price is going to be being suppressed. When you see falling open interest, it means interest to basically trade the coin has dried out. Liquidity is going to pull out. Let's see here. So daily time frame for IOP. Yeah, daily time frame for IOP, man. The daily is dropping down below that 55. Let's go ahead and look at kind of a zoomed out volume profile as well. You're coming up on your volume profile support right here, but you can't blindly trade this because, I mean, this is a huge range, man, and you're not exactly sure where you're going to bottom. So we had a good run there, man. I mean, I believe what it was about, it was a few days ago when we started talking about this. So, we had a good run, man. We had a good opportunity. We just weren't able to stay in the bullish momentum. And now you're getting kind of that signal right now, crossing down below your 55. Let's look and see what the Fisher's doing. Yep, and we see the Fisher crossing down here actually 2 days ago. Would have given us the sell signal here on the daily right there. So we're just overbought, coming back down. Got to take a breather, man. Let's look at volume. Yeah, we got that nice spike in volume. But yeah, just not a lot. IOP is it's just not ready yet, man. It's just not ready yet to make that big move. Yeah, volatility super low, as I talked about earlier. Price moving up on lowering volatility, not a healthy sign. We'll take a stab here, man. If you want, you can wait for the daily candle to close. It's possible that we do get a little rally off this 55 and end up closing above it. Again, you got to wait almost a full day for that. And I would hate to do that to somebody. So again, again, I don't say that not financial advice crap because that doesn't protect anybody. The reality is, man, you're going to have to be responsible for your own trade, and I'll do my best to give you the best analysis that I can, my good friend. But yeah, it's not looking super healthy to me, man. I'm not going to lie. We had a stab there. We looked at VC depth, looked okay. It's just not holding the level, man. It's just not holding the level. The daily's closing below it. So like I said, it'd be safer to wait. Well, it would be conventional to wait until the daily candle closes and get confirmation of your breakdown right here. But just the fact that we moved up on low liquidity, we kind of had this nice blow off top. Fisher transforms over bot on the daily. Falling volatility. Yeah. Just not my cup of tea, man. You can see also here, you see our 13 and our 8 exponential moving averages, which is what I kind of use for the smaller time frames. It's not for the smaller time frames, but let me how can I explain? So when I see, when you see your 21 crossing above your 55, it's your kind of your traditional call signal for your moving average crossover. Same thing too when you see price crossover it as well. But you can see here that the 8, which is our fastest EMA, is actually looking like it's going to get a rejection here from the 55. So just kind of a rejection from resistance as well is one way to view that. Now, again, that's probably the first time that anybody's heard me say that, because it doesn't happen very often where you actually see a moving average reject from a previous moving average. And might not be the most accurate way to think about it in general, but just an element of this strategy of looking at the charts that you should keep in mind, man. Let's see. Supposedly they're releasing some information on Monday about their project that's supposed to be big news, but who knows? I see this stuff a lot in Telegram, man, where people will put altcoin signals out, and then they'll tether it to a like a news to a news announcement. And in my opinion, I try to ignore those things. The reason why is because the market doesn't move on news. I mean, we saw that the SolidX Van Eck ETF got withdrawn and the market basically did nothing. Yeah. Okay, so how can I... Sorry, I just want to make sure that I'm describing that more clearly. What I'll often find is on Telegram, people will post some fundamental information like there's an Ask Me Anything or there's a news event. Unfortunately, we're in a bear market, man. And big news events like that aren't really going to move the market. That's why I'm really focused on the technicals. Again, the old saying goes, show me the chart and I'll tell you what the news is. Not, tell me the news. I mean, so again, buy the rumor, sell the news, So again, if we can get some nice reversal here on IOP, I mean, it was looking good for a couple days. We closed the daily above the 55. We had a nice little run up. Looked like we were going to run up here to the 100 simple. Or excuse me, that's the 100 exponential. And it just didn't happen, man. It's all right. We'll get him next time, Tiger. So let's just wait. Let's just wait. Get a nice little bullish movement right here. And we'll go trade something else, man. This is the life we've chosen. All right. How much gold can you get per Bitcoin? That's an interesting question. I'm not exactly sure. Blockchain G says, any thoughts on XLM? I got a jet, man. I just checked the clock and I got to go get my daughter. But I'll take one quick glance at XLM. Yeah, here's the thing. XLM, I was looking at this earlier too. It's starting to look like an attractive price to buy. We've got our Fisher that's really oversold right here, below 1 standard deviation, pretty much, or excuse me, below 2 standard deviations, at almost going down to 4 standard deviations now, which was the place that we bottomed at last time right here on the Fisher. Not any divergence to speak of whatsoever. In fact, just confluence actually. ATR getting very low, and just similarly, when I see price moving down on very low volatility, I start looking for interesting spots to buy. If we do take a bigger look, I mean, just clearly, we're at the bottom of the range. Buy resistance, or excuse me, long support. Short resistance. We've got all our moving averages crossing down above us, so we got some significant. We got some significant resistance to get overhead. I'd like to see a little bit of confirmation, at least on our shorter term EMAs. Again, these are take profit targets, our longer term EMAs when we're below them. And I'm looking for bullish confirmation by at least closing above the 13. Or excuse me, the 21. So we've got this high volume node coming in right here. That's going to be acting as our first area of resistance right here. Oh, it seems I have deleted everything. Yeah, so here's my chart right here. We've got all the HVNs plotted out as take profit targets on the way back up. We've got confluence there with our exponential moving averages. I know this chart probably looks really cluttered, but This is actually the 4-hour chart. I need to actually redo this for the 1-hour chart because I was trading in these ranges the last time that I was looking at XLM. So yeah, we see some very interesting price contraction right here at a very interesting level. The stops have really been placed out because a lot of people would have placed their stops right here around this level. In fact, let's just go ahead and get rid of this crap right now. We do have swing lows right here. So a lot of people would have had stop losses placed right here, and we've seen those now be triggered. The only thing that I'm worried about putting on a position right now is how volatilely price moved down in this range, right? So we do have this LVN below us, and if we close the daily in the realm of this LVN, I'd be very worried about XLM. But overall, I do just have to understand fundamentally that XLM is a very strong coin. It's got a lot of supporters, got a lot of money behind it, a lot of interest in trading it. It's one of the big ones. I'm not going to be a perma bull here or anything like that, but it just seems to me like good attractive times to be buying projects because the risk to reward potential is just too great. I mean, you know, let's even say that you set your stop loss below here. Let's just be real. Like, so let's say you allow yourself a 30% loss. All right, it's not a good way to trade. I'm just saying. You know, you've got a 60 to 70% upside right here. You know, certain things seem like no-brainers. So I'm not putting on an XLM position yet, but it's getting to that point where I'm like, yeah, this is starting to be a no-brainer, man. Especially looking at the daily, look at that. You get this big, nice volume spike. If we actually zoom in, we get this kind of like nice Darth Maul candle right here. These things are starting to look like test pumps to me. So again, I'm not going to be putting on a position until the daily closes at least above the 21 exponential. Need to see at least a resistance get broke. I'd even prefer to see this level get taken out first, like 29.65. That's our local resistance. That's our local top. I'd like to close a daily above that, and then I can be like, all right, cool. We've had a big volatile spike down, telling me that most likely we can see a local bottom. And now we've broken resistance too. All right, cool. Now we've got these moving averages overhead. They're going to act as short-term targets. And overall, if we take a bigger perspective, we can start looking at HVNs right here for resistance. We've got one coming in here. We've got one coming in here. And we've got one coming in here. Interesting areas for us to take profits. So in the short term, I'd be taking profits at our long-term moving averages. And then if we're able to close the daily in above this range, we've got this big LVN right here. And if we close above our 200 right here, our 200 exponential, then I really don't see anything stopping us from these take profit targets right here. So that's when I put back on the trade. Take short-term targets at resistance, wait, establish, is price going to actually zoom to the LVN? Let's put it back on and let's go. Yeah, this is starting to look pretty nice. This looks like really, really oversold volume right here. So might not be a bad time to actually snag some up. Just make sure you're managing your risk, man. Look what happened over here. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. I got to be leaving you right now. As I normally do at the end of every show, I just want to thank you all for coming by. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and/or death threats, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I just want to thank you, everybody. I want to thank you, everybody, for coming around, liking, subscribing, following, joining the Discord. I highly appreciate that. Make sure to check out discord.crackencryptocurrency.com. Keep the conversation rolling, guys. Even after the show, it's all about the community. We do try to do everything we can for you guys down around that area. If you guys want to support the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. We're here Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're going to start doing the weekend shows in the evening. Joseph Eckhart, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube. Before I bounce out, I just want to see... Yeah, okay, cool. I didn't miss anybody, I don't think. If you guys want to support the show in a more substantial way, feel free to stop by crackencryptocurrency.com/merch. You can pick up some wonderful merch that we got on sale, t-shirts, cups, mugs. I have been told by scientists that if you drink your morning coffee out of my Cracking Cryptocurrency HODL mug, your trades will be 80% more effective, more successful. I've heard that it also makes you more attractive to the opposite sex. Now, I can't confirm or deny that. All I can say is that it's working for me. But we do get a kickback from the sale of the merch. Helps keep the lights on here. Also, if you want to go over to twitch.tv/crackingcrypto, all the links in the description down below, and give us a follow or a subscribe. We really appreciate that as well. Really trying to build the Twitch out. Last thing, if you guys would like to join the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group, if you'd like to get access, if you'd like to see more of me, if you'd like to get not just the TA that I do live on the stream, but the stuff that I do privately for the subscribers, if you'd like to get access to the all my trade signals and setups, see all the trades that I'm putting on, as well as my technical analysis, receive mentorship from me, as well as the rest of my team of analysts and traders, as well as the other community members that are growing in technical analysis and expertise every day. Then check out premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link is in the description down below. Not only will you get access to that, you'll get access to the hidden Discord, the VIP day trading voice chat, the members lounge chat room. You'll also get access to my weekly webinars. Well, sometimes they're bi-weekly, sometimes they're tri-weekly, but I put them out as often as I can, depending on how extensive and comprehensive they are, where my goal is to teach a novice trader to become a profitable trader, to understand market psychology, to understand technical analysis and fundamentals behind a trade before he clicks that button. You also get access to curated news, our database, a live tracking sheet, and a customizable trade journal just for yourself, guys. If you have any questions, as I said, leave them in the comment section down below. Hopefully today's show has helped crack cryptocurrency for you. As always, I'm Justin Wise with another breaking Bitcoin market update. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a terrific evening.